Welcome to the Newport Board of Education meeting. May I have a roll call, please? Here. 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 All righty, if you all would join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. And now we'll have a moment of reflection. Righty. Okay. I need somebody to read the mission statement because my screen just went crazy. Yes. Educate and instill core values in all students to ensure that each student reaches their full potential. All right, very good. All righty, first up on our agenda is recognitions. Mr. Watts? Yes.
So to start, we have Newport primary schools. I think it should represent Newport primary.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So we have our student of the month for the month of April is Yadio McCarty Pablo. And Ms. Mayor Rose, Ms. Williams, shortly. Yadio is 100% respectful all the time. Whether the teachers are watching or not. He respects his peers, his teachers, and the material he uses every day in class. He's always looking to his team, either the speaker at all times, or his friends, or the adults in the building. He's kind to everyone, bring out his kindness for others, and his great attendance to the school every day with a positive attitude and ready to work. She is our teacher of the month of March. So Ms. Nicola is a second grade teacher at primary school. Something about her classroom, every minute of the day is maximized instruction, whether it's walking down the hallway, on the way to specials, waiting for the bathroom, every minute, every day, from the time they walk in to the time they're all ready to walk out to the bus or for the bus. Taylor starts, Taylor showers every day in a class. One little example, we have this in a month, every month, as you're aware. And the class culture in this room is something I've seen very seldom in any building, any district. It's a true community where the kids decide who they walk a month based on how, they have been respectful and kind and what they show up and do every single day in the classroom. And coincidentally for teachers here, and just in the classroom for about 90 minutes earlier this week. And the atmosphere in this room is, like I said, just top above the bar, and everything that she does, from planning to leading her the GLC, and providing just a great environment for her, and we have Joe here with us. Our chief of the month for April is Haley Johan. Haley is a first grade teacher in Newport primary and it's her first year teaching. We have not ran her off. She's excited for her second year Newport primary. For being a first year teacher, comes in every day. We have all of our executives in the room. We know how stressful it is your first year. She comes in every day with a smile on her face, ready to take on the day, no matter what comes her way. Also unique to a first year teacher, she's very analytical. She looks at the data, she figures out what the kids are struggling with, and finds a strategy to help them. And if she can't find it, she asks her first teacher, her team, she would opt at a grade level, she has to figure out what that child needs to get them on the right path. Very resourceful. You would see that she loves her job every day in the classroom, always smiling, even on those challenging days. Does a great job of finding humor in her students, even when they don't expect it. And we are glad that she's part of the law.
Congratulations and welcome.
Next up, we will have the intermediate student.
Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, we are going to start with our student of the month, Logan Sullivan. Okay, so Logan is a third grader in Newport Intermediate School. He's an excellent example of what it means to be a Newport Wildcat. He comes to school every day with a smile on his face and ready to go learn. He consistently helps others in and out of the classroom and exemplifies all of our war expectations. He's sweet and considerate and strives to do his best. He does not stop at any challenge he is given and will try again and again if he needs to. He's an incredible student, shows kindness often to his classmates, and is very respectful to his teachers. He helps anyone he can. His teachers are congratulating him on being the NIS Student of the Month, and his big brother's big sister, also gave a special shout out to him, who is Chief Bangman at the police department. So we're very of the month is Mr. Nick. So Mr. Jim is our new music teacher at Newport Intermediate School, so this is his first year with us at NIS. His colleagues say he is a rock star at school. He goes above and beyond for our students and staff, from working with students after school because they're interested in making beats, drumming, or learning the flute, to taking time to notice when a coworker is having a tough day and giving a small note to them to cheer up their day. His selfless support goes a long way in creating such a positive culture for our school, and we are extremely lucky to have him on our team. He is supportive, flexible, considerate, kind, and generous. I could continue on and on. He is a talented musician and loves art too. I love having Mr. Denham on my team for many other reasons, and I'm excited to continue to work together here and an IS. He really goes above and beyond. He's not rushing for our sixth grade promotion ceremony, so we're spending a lot of time together right now.
All right, next up, we have the high school. Now,
Maybe one more, one more.
tell us who they are, and then we'll get
Mr. Hunt is our teacher of the month. The guy does an unbelievable job. I will tell you, no matter what you ask him to do, he's got a smile on his face when he's hard, and he just does it. The kids like him. He's tough. He has expectations, and that carries over. The football team, football season ended, and usually they just go, well, it's over. Mr. Hunt's like, oh, no, we're still going to check grades, we're still doing all this stuff. And he has really made a change with our athletes that he has in the program, and not just our athletes. He's done everything from the prayer to agility to you name it. And he's done a wonderful job. Student of the month just totally slipped my mind right now.
And one of them.
I know, it just totally slipped my mind. So, can we do one basketball? Well, yeah, do it one time.
Maybe they'll come back.
It will, that's what I'm thinking. I'll get somebody else here, I'll think of it. What a crew.
Yeah. Are they coming?
They're probably
No, I didn't hope so.
trying to like organize themselves up.
Okay.
Come on, coach, come in here. Come on, we're gonna take a break and take a break now. While Coach rounds it up, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break now. One of the things that I have to say about this group, honestly, you come around and we have a lot of athletes, and they're athletes, and that's all they're worried about. There's no expectation of anything in the classroom or wherever. And I will say this, with this group of young men that we have here, they've not been an issue all year. They go to their classes, they keep their grades up. That's a tribute not only to them, their families, but it's also a tribute to Coach Snap and his staff for what they do daily. They put in extra work. You don't get to go to the state tournament without putting in that hard work. And we look forward to great things from them. We truly expect them, when we look at it for next year, we truly expect, when we talk about student athletes, that's what we want them to be for our students. And they do a great job. Coach?
Thanks for having us up here. Kind of go around the room here. We got freshman Dave Kennedy, Kali, sophomore, eighth grader Monte Lowe, HOA sophomore, junior, Rob Dyer, sophomore, and it's freshman Coach Pipes, probably one of the best managers in the state right here. Senior, he's one of them right. Sophomore, Will Silverton, freshman James Turner, and our only senior, Mark West Miller. One thing real quick about Mark West, he has some college offers, he's able to go to college for free. He's trying to decide. I know he's really interested in Florida Memorial University. It's in Miami, it's really nice. So he's talking about Coach, he's always senior, Coach Manuel, Anderson, John Anderson, sophomore, Coach Merrill, Ethan Snap. So, Coach is doing an awesome job. This team went undefeated at home, probably the first team that ever went undefeated at home. They did a lot of great things, worked really hard. He's got that line, they're in the gym nonstop. We got a handful handful of guys that will definitely get a break in the next role due to, doing things right in the classroom, being good kids, working hard. So, they'll be number one in the region next year, or else that. We'll probably be top, I would say we'll be top 20 where we're at. We'll preach about might be coming up and all of that, just keep grinding on every day. Or like we talked about, these guys talked about, get out of the region and try to win the state championship before they go. That's definitely our goal, for sure. And we talked about it. But a lot of things kind of, kind of school attendance and a lot of little things that happen. So. Thanks for having us. We appreciate all the support from all you guys. Definitely fun year, and we'll continue to be good.
And I just wanted to say, Mr. Hunter, wanted me to give his regrets. He had a conference tonight, so we had AD conference, that's where he is. But he wanted me to make sure you guys understand how proud he was of you and how well you guys behaved down at the state tournament. That the hotel staff commented on how well mannered you guys were and how polite you were. So thanks for everything you've done. We recognized you all last year. So I think runner up in the district this year, winning it all for the state. So let's make this an annual thing.
You got it all.
Oh, okay. Right, that's my- yeah. I just like, oh, we're gonna stand around and talk to him, and after go to break, and. Right. Yeah, my fault, sorry.
Oh, yeah, because they were last on the agenda, so that's why I thought you were right.
Oh, yeah.
All righty.
That's Chip's fault. He threw up our rhythm.
You're a rowdy bunch. Imagine that, teenage boys.
For recognition, celebration, Jennifer Stiles Jones.
Mm.
This one is, it's bittersweet for me. I'm happy that Jennifer gets to retire on her terms, healthy and getting out when she can, but I'm sad to see her go.
All right.
This is a special occasion for me because this is the first person that I've hired in my tenure that's actually retired.
Okay.
So, Jennifer was one of the first people I hired when I was principal at Newport High School. We had a lot of students who struggled with reading, so we hired her as a reading intervention teacher. She did an excellent job working with the students. She developed a relationship with them, and they gave their best to make her proud. We were talking yesterday about one of her students who she had, who was reading at the second or third grade reading level. I don't remember which one, but he was low. And in the ninth grade, you know, he was angry, always getting in trouble, because he just struggled in class. So by the time he graduated, he was volunteering to read aloud in her class, and he became a better overall student. She eventually became department chair and was a big part of our turnaround at the high school. She's been in education for over 30 years. She's done a great job. Again, I could go on and on talking about Jennifer. For the sake of time, I'll begin with this. This year, our theme song is History by Michael Jackson. Some of the lyrics say, every day creates your history. Every day, every path you take, you're leaving your legacy. Jennifer has touched a lot of students' lives, and she has left an everlasting legacy. So she has made a difference, and Jennifer will miss you, and I hope you enjoy your retirement. So thank you. Can I take a picture?
All right. Now, we can take our 10-minute break. We'll be back at 7 o'clock, okay? We will resume our meeting. Next on the agenda is comments from the audience, and we have Karen Strayer to talk about Senate Bill 5. Mhm.
Just
Yeah,
kind of a review.
Okay,
I'm not going to do the whole thing.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for not making it. Senate Bill 5 created a new section of KRS Chapter 158. It reads as follows. Number one, as used in this section, harmful to minors means materials, programs, or events that A, contain the exposure in an obscene manner of the unclothed or apparently unclothed human male or female genitals, pubic area, or buttocks, or the female, or the female breast, or visual depictions of sexual acts or simulations of sexual acts, or explicit written description of sexual acts. B, taken as a whole appeals to prurient interest in sex, or C, is patently offensive to prevailing standards regarding what is suitable for minors. No later than July 1st of 2023, each local board of education shall adopt a complaint resolution policy. Complaints are to be submitted to the principal of the school within 7 days of the receipt of a written complaint. The principal will review and investigate if material is harmful to minors. The school principal shall determine whether student access to material that is the subject of the complaint shall remain, be restricted, or be removed. Within 10 days of a written complaint, unless agreed upon by the principal and parent or guardian, the principal shall confer with the parent or guardian if the material is harmful to minors and what the resolution will be. The parent may appeal against the decision, and SB 5 describes the process. Several, a total of 16 written complaints were submitted on December, I think the 12th of 2022. We are here today still waiting for a determination. To keep in the record, if that's okay.
Quick, painless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it? Okay, next we have Myrna Eads on book challenges.
So I submitted 16 book challenges in December of 2022. I've given you all copies of just some of the books that have been, that are in your school library. First one, the Fascination Classroom. We're all in the media, we're talking about all these kids that are shooting up classrooms. This book is in your school. And it's a graphic novel showing kids shooting up classrooms. You think that's appropriate? I don't. Another book that is in your library is called The Sun and Her Flowers. And it clearly shows a picture that is not appropriate for children of any age, in my opinion. But that's for a parental decision to be made on whether this book is appropriate or not for the school or teachers. Other books, and they're kind of combined in this packet, but Soul is a story about a young girl who was sold into sex trafficking. There's a movie based on it. The movie is also graphic, but it's better than the book. But some of the content in Soul, and I'll show you a couple lines, in between, then come and crush my bones with their weight, they split me open. And then he's on top of me, holding me down with the strength of 10 men. He kisses me with lips that are slack and wet and taste of onion. His teeth dig into my lower lip, underneath the weight of him, I cannot see or move or breathe. He fumbles with his hands, forces my legs apart, and I can feel him pushing himself between my thighs. With a sudden thrust, I'm torn in two. That's visually enough damage for someone who doesn't know about sex trafficking to be reading this and happening. I believe the girl in this book is only 10 years old. That's too much, you know, and what Karen was saying is that that's to be fine. we have to guard our children. And with taxpayer funds putting these books into schools, that we can be spending our money a whole lot better. And like Karen said, I submitted to book challenges in December, and I have yet to hear. I have sent several emails out. I have made phone calls, and all I get back is, we're looking into it, we're looking into it, we're looking into it. And I apologize, I haven't been able to come to the school board meetings because usually I work on Wednesday night. So I purposely made the change to my schedule so I could get here, to address it. But I hope that you guys will take this serious. And seriously look into what is in your libraries at all levels.
Thank you. Mr. Watts? Do you have a response? Because our policy, that we have regarding material, curriculum material, is we addressed this previously.
Yes,
And before you get started, when it comes to new law, the Kentucky School Board Association will write a policy for school boards to adopt, which is what they usually do when there's a change in the law. They will provide us with a policy based on KRS or any, so they help us when it comes to governing the school based on policy set by state law. So typically we'll get something, and it's just passed, so takes a while for them, so we,
Well, you got,
right.
and that's on my list to talk about later on.
Okay.
Brought up that.
be great.
So, and as far as the book challenges go, first, the challenge book, there has to be a parent in the district, so we are looking at those titles and everything that they have presented to us. So we are doing that, but to deal with that challenge, there has to be a person that's actually lives in the district.
I have plenty of parents that live in the district, because I was in Fort Thomas, we represent them. If that could be communicated, I could not do the name and address of the parent in the district to put on. They get, legit.
We are looking into them and we.
Is your status?
Okay, and as we had shared with you before, we do have a procedure in place when a book is inappropriate based on the age. The media specialist is to get permission from the parent before that child can check that book out. So there is, correct, Tim?
Yes.
There is, so we do have a process in place when it comes to the books that may not be age appropriate. They need parental permission. So I sent the email on to this. I'm looking forward to an update once you all have finished reviewing the books. All righty. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda is minutes from the March 22nd and 23rd, March 22nd, 2023, and April 12th, 2023. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? Any comments or corrections? If not, I need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Aye. All righty, next on the agenda is the treasurer's report.
Good evening, we have the bank reconciliation for March and the March pay bills for your.
No, you answered mine, so I'm good. Anyone else have any questions regarding the bank reconciliation statement?
Good. Went through the fine tooth comb today during my time with Leon.
You okay?
Oh, too much free time on my hands.
Yeah. You need to enjoy it. It'll be over soon.
2 weeks.
Right. All right, if there's no questions or comments, then I need a motion to accept the bank's reconciliation statement and file for audit. It's been moved in second. All in favor? Aye. All righty.
And then the only other thing was, I just wanted to check to see if the federal branch report was, what you all had envisioned, and if you'd like me to make any changes to that. Or if you have any questions.
So this would be the monthly report that you would provide to us?
Yes, if everything is on there that you, want it on there, then this would be what it would look like.
So this report covers all the expenditures that typically fall under these federal grants,
Yes.
the categories?
correct. So for these particular grants, for the month of March, we only have salaries and fringes that were paid.
Right.
Those grants. So now I just kind of picked the top three, but, so we have title funding, but we have three different sets of title funding. So I didn't, include those yet, but, at any given time, you could be working in 3 years of title funding at the same time. So that would just include the J year, which is the fiscal year 22.
Okay. All righty. Well, I think what we'd like to do is explore this a little bit more at a work session. I might want to know what the fringes are.
Fringes are just like the insurance, just insurance, taxes, the employer side of the taxes, those fringes.
Okay.
Not fringes like the being parking. Sorry, that may be misleading, no, this is
Yeah.
salary and required legal taxes that we as an employer must pay on their behalf. Unemployment, workers' compensation, their federal health insurance that we're required to pay out of the grant like KDE, FICA, Medicare, Social Security, stuff with that.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarification.
Right.
When you said that, I was like,
Right. Yeah. So might want to change that wording.
right, we have very strict regulations, so we are monitored on, our grants regularly. We just finished up monitoring for some of our grants. So they do monitor closely, everything before we spend it, everything individually broken down by line item has to be approved by KDE before we can issue a purchase order for that. So, it is monitored internally and at KDE.
All right, very good, thank you. And then we have the March invoices. Anyone have any questions? I believe mine were answered in my call with Jennifer. Anyone else have any questions regarding the invoices for March?
I already talked to Jennifer.
Okay. Are we ready to vote? So I need a motion to approve payment of the March invoices.
Move we pay the bills.
All righty.
Second.
Second. Thank you for that tuition reimbursement report. I like that.
Thank you.
I like the breakdown. It helps us to see. I like that it's separated. With current employees and. Good. I think that's it. Everything else is for information that you have. Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor? Sorry. All right. I think everything else is for information, no more voting action, correct? All righty, next, Mr. Watts is Student Learning and Support Services.
The, bill, meetings ago, tell you where the bills were and the things that they were talking about passing, things that might affect us. Now, I'm going to share with those ones that they did pass that will affect us. Some may affect us more than others, and some of them we have things in place for already. And as you stated earlier, KSBA will give us some guidance, and they will be sending out the new policy here soon. Then we will bring it to the board to be approved on the amendments if we have to make any as far as the district goes. But I'll start with HB 5. This is the one that provides tax relief to the distilling manufacturers for distilled spirits and Kentucky warehouses. That additional will affect us because, of course, we have new ribbon here in the city. I don't know how much it's going to affect us yet, but we'll have to wait and see because it modifies the C formula to exclude the excess value of the distilled spirit in the local effort calculation. So we'll have to see how that will affect us, but that will some. HB 32, districts can employ classified personnel now without a high school diploma if the district provides the opportunity to obtain a high school equivalency diploma at no cost to the employee. So we have the classified tuition reimbursement. We already started that, so again, that this won't affect us, and it just gives us the opportunity to hire folks if they don't have a diploma, and then provide the funding to help them get that. SB 5 creates a new section, and again, we talked about that one. We just talked about creates a new section of KRS chapter 158 to define harmful to minors. Now, this one will make us look at some of the things we're doing differently, and it may be that what we have now, whereas the parent has the ability to say a kid can't get that, so now it might require us not even to have it. So that's when I talked to Brandon about all of these, we have a meeting, and that's one that might cause us to take some things off of our shelves. So we'll have to look at those and make sure that we're following that bill. SB 25, this one relates to post-secondary readiness indicators for demonstrating career and college and career readiness. So this bill just provides some alternative ways for students to become college and or career ready. So that this one will help our students and provide more opportunities for them moving forward. SB 150, and again, this one won't affect us as much. We already have some things in place. And we don't do anyway, but it says schools and districts should be able to provide comprehensive notice of health services and mental health services available to students upon enrollment. That's something that we do. I think this bill was, I guess, for people who are trying to hide things from parents, and we don't do that. Schools should develop procedures for notifying families of referral to the health service, to a mental health service by a teacher. We always involve our parents in those discussions. Section 2, districts are required to ensure any child regardless of the grade level doesn't receive any instruction that has a purpose of students studying or exploring gender identity, gender expression, or sexual orientation. So this is one that we will have to look at our health classes and all of the curriculum that we have been doing to make sure that we're not covering any of those topics. So, and then there's a third section of that one that requires the district to provide alternative restrooms or something for students who are transgender, and again, we do that already, so that won't affect us as much. So just wanted to share, again, those bills that will have some effect on us. Again, we'll wait and see what KSBA guides us on, and we will make sure that we adjust our policies as we see fit. Next thing, as far as instruction and the schools are going along, we are finishing up our last walkthrough visits for the year. We visited Newport in the intermediate school yesterday. We will visit the high school on Friday, and then we'll visit the primary next week. So I'm pleased to say that we're seeing improvement when I talk about, continuous improvement, and we make it simple. We gotta be better today than we were this time last year. I can honestly say that, when you go into the school, we see that. We feel that, and I think if you ask anybody in the district, they will tell you that. So I'm pleased with that. Seeing the improvement. Students on our visit yesterday were excited about learning. They were up raising their hands, some of them jumping up and down out of the seat.
Yeah.
So our first visit back in October, we didn't see that. But now the kids are, they're engaged, they want to learn, they're excited about learning. Now we have to challenge them more and push them more. So, I'm happy to say that we're gonna get there. We're finishing up math testing, I think, this week, and then we'll have some data for you all at the work session, and it's the 10th. So pack a dinner on the 10th, so it might be a long one. Give you a heads up. So we're gonna have a lot of data to share with you on the 10th, and I think we have some other things to discuss as well, so, we may wanna have some dinner on the 10th. NWA, just to give you a quick update, there's a change order, this is not costing us anything, so I just wanted to share this with you. But there are some things that we didn't get to do this year because of, starting late and then trying to develop those relationships. So we're gonna push the things that we did get, and most of it is like coaching sessions. So we'll push those things into year 2. So I have to, sign a change order saying that we're gonna move those things into year 2, and that's okay. And again, it doesn't affect the price in any way at all. So just want to share that with you. We had a good work session on Monday, going over the survey results, and I will share that with you all as well on our report section. Last thing I have, and it's on our approval for new business, is the Apple lease that Rusty brought to us, it's a couple meetings ago. So this is the next step in getting that, approved by, KD. So this step you all vote on, saying we approve that, and then he takes it on and, gets them to approve it, and then we'll go on and do the ordering and whatever else that he has. So that's what that one is about. And I think that's all I have. Any questions?
No, it's a lot, to consider. So we just have to be mindful that when KSBA, sends us the policy, we will also address the procedures. Okay. All righty. It's a lot. So just so you all will understand that when they write a policy, we also have to define the procedures that go with that policy. And that's what our job is, to vote and govern the policies and make sure that Mr. Watts, because he's the only one that the board can have a personnel relationship with. And so he's charged to make sure that the policy and procedures set by the board are implemented throughout his leadership team and the school. So that's how that works, okay? All right, 40 policies and 20 procedures. I have to pack a lunch that day too.
Well, we won't give them all to you at the same time.
Feed him too. All righty. Okay, next on the agenda is curriculum department update.
Remember what y'all said.
No questions? No, I think you said that. I don't-
Madam Chair, board members, Mr. Watt, you have our report.
No questions, Melissa?
No,
I tried to think of one just to,
yeah.
but it's a good report. For some reason, it's already up, so got to figure out where it populated to. Oh, here it is. Good.
So do we have the date set for our state testing?
Yes.
April 20,
Oh, the whole window, okay. Gotcha.
And I really like the, department's vision statement. And the summer school, I knew there was something. So have we started, or you all started planning that and looking into that, and so this testing will help you define the needs, same plan as last year?
Same as we did last year. Teachers will select certain standards they're gonna cover in those 4 weeks. We'll have an assessment of those at the beginning of summer school, and then that's.
All righty. We had pretty good participation last year too, right? Let's hope we can continue to grow that program as well. But students are in a different place, so that's good.
Yeah, and you know, in summer school, we don't always get all of them that we want, but we've had good participation, and I think the schools have done a good job of making contact with parents and explaining the reasons we want the kids there. We're sharing the data, I read map data, and then, you know, saying here's where your kid is, and, you know, this is why we need them here, so we can move forward. Keep them learning over the summer, so we won't have that learning loss. Dennis has done a great job on providing transportation, so that has helped some too. So we're trying to work, you know, all of us working together as a team to get as many here as possible.
All right.
See what we get.
All right, very good.
Next up, we got DPP.
Madam Chair, members of the board, you have a copy of the People First Services report for April. We do have several upcoming days. Primary election day is May 16th. This is our 144th day of instruction. So our last student day will be May 25th. There will be a teacher work day on the 26th, closing on May 30th. That was approved in our amended calendar. Back off what Mr. Watts shared with you, was Senate Bill 32. The board already has a policy in place with procedures for individuals who are over the age of 21, 60 credit hours, if they would like to come back and earn a high school diploma. So this new Senate bill is very well what we have in place, with just some minor changes in provision. With Senate Bill 150 on the notification for services, those are things that we already have a policy and procedure for. I'm sure that there'll be some updates to that, but we are starting a new program next year due to our transition rate. These student services, we're going to offer monthly new to Newport for new students to Newport and someone important to them, whether that's a parent, a grandparent, and an uncle, or sibling, just to make sure that they understand what it means to be a Newport Wildcat, what our expectations are, and allow them to set some goals based on attendance and academics, making sure they understand where their child's at and where they need to be for the right game. We also, back in November and December, when we were looking at our needs assessment for your comprehensive district improvement plan, did add several sections related to culture and climate, specifically related to health, behavior, and SEL curriculums. And just looking at what we are doing in kindergarten through grade 14 as it comes to behavior development and SEL. So we do have is goal 5, our culture and climate goal, and all of those things that are already done meeting. So we're excited when we get our policy and procedure from the state to further align that and just make sure that our students are getting more holistic education, which is what we strive for here. Included within my report, we also have a continuation of learning plan. That is the plan that is submitted to the Commissioner of Education. We'll receive feedback. In years past, we've gotten approval each time we submitted it. We did just receive the monitoring guidance document for that, so we're going to go back through it a little one more time and make sure that there's nothing, you know, that maybe we need to tighten up on, but we already submitted that to the Commissioner for the 23-24 year school year.
Thank you. Any questions for? All right, our DPP. Thank you.
thinking about it, you put on your, we have an end of year celebration on the 30th and Tuesday, so the 30th, May 30th.
And
If you're available,
What-
have your lunch,
what time?
11:30. You know, you've been there long, you can't last, you have a good time.
Yes, it is a good time.
The high school?
Enjoy some ribs, and,
Yes, the food was good and all the games and activities.
Is this at the high school?
yeah. We have a good time.
And our community partners really showed up for our staff too, so that was good.
So next up, we have.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Sorry. All right, Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. Shortly after the event in Nashville, Mr. Malone reached out to me, asking general questions in terms of security measures that we already have in place. I thought this would be a good opportunity with a new board member. Unfortunately, Mr. Pearl's not here this evening.
Yes.
But, oh, great. Hello. And a newer board member, just to be aware of what we have in place. Mrs. Malone requested that we watch a snippet of the event that took place in Nashville. The purpose of this is to kind of set the tone, to understand and realize what the world has become, just to be quite honest with you. There is a lot that we deal with each and every day. There is a lot that we have to consider in terms of our duty to keep our students and staff safe. But this, unfortunately, is again another example of what individuals can do in this world. So just again, it's kind of to set the tone and sorry to create a downer moment, but it's important for us to see.
You've been in an accident, and now the insurance company is trying to bully you into taking their lowball offer. Don't take it.
Police releasing video of the moments leading up to the shooting there at the Covenant School, that great school that left 3 young children dead and 3 administrators dead as well. I want to show you that right now. I want to just warn you that this is very graphic and viewer discretion is advised. It does show the moments the shooter entered the school and began looking around. Let's watch. Okay, so there you can see the vehicle the shooter drove, that 28-year-old from Nashville, driving up in the parking lot here of the school. This was released just moments ago by the Nashville Police Department. The shooter, who the police identified as Audrey E. Hale, saying that the individual identifies as transgender, entered the building by firing through a side door. There you see it. The shooter walks in, kicks the glass, armed with 2 assault-style weapons and a handgun. That's according to John Tripp. He's the Nashville Police Department chief there. So remember, the police identified 6 victims in this shooting there. The shooter, you can see, bracing the weapon, the sirens, it looks like.
Well, obviously, this is so extremely important that this is what we face each day. The next series of slides, I'm going to be talking about our security measures, but I want to stand before you today, and I just want to tell you that there is no deafness in this world. I can never stand up here and tell you that we are immune, that we are invincible to any of these types of things. And this goes for any public building. This goes to any school, unless our schools look like Fort Knox or a federal prison. You know, if anyone is motivated enough to do something, they're going to figure out a way to do it. It's our job. I can tell you, and I can assure you this, that I will daily continue to find ways to help keep our kids and our staff safe. But again, if someone's motivated enough, they're going to find a way. But we're going to continue to do our best. And this goes for all of the different safe schools coordinators all around the world. It's just a matter of doing the best we absolutely can. I want to start with just categorically go through a few things. For the first line of defense is our exterior doors. All of our doors are properly working at this point in time. And when I say that, that's an extremely important statement. That first line of defense is that outside door. And I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the bottom bullet of that slide in particular, the fact that every single lock or door related work order gets immediate priority. I will call Greg. He does an outstanding job with our doors and locks. And I will pull him from anything that he's doing to go address any kind of door issue. So at this point, today, as of right now, every single interior and exterior door is working properly and doing what it's supposed to do. Each year, we continue to add key fobs to our exterior doors. The fob doors reduce the risk of someone unlocking a door and forgetting to lock it back. Also, fob doors create another entry point for our first responders. All of our police officers in Newport have a key fob. And again, we've added many throughout the district this year. And that's, again, going to be another point of access for them to get in to help us with the situation. Also, an important thing about the key fobs, they can be, the doors can be remotely locked out. So that in the event that an intruder gets a key fob, we can shut them all down. Again, every work order related to doors are addressed. Again, interior doors now, moving on to that, all of them working properly. Every single lock in this district is working as of today. Staff have been trained and consistently reminded of the law and expectations pertaining to keeping their doors locked. Administrators and SROs conduct door checks to ensure that the doors are locked. All classroom doors that have glass are equipped with pull-down blackout shades to prevent an intruder from being able to look into a classroom if we have a lockdown scenario. There are some additional spaces that I'm looking to add some additional blinds and shades to next year that are already, for the most part, out of the public view. But I still want to add additional blinds next year. Our main offices, all of our offices are equipped with access controls. That includes cameras and intercoms on the front doors. That's for us to determine who's coming into the building and the purpose of their visit. The Welcome Center will have new access controls installed this July. Each school's office has a monitor television screen that allows them, the office staff, to be able to continually watch different cameras throughout their campus. And then for 23-24, each office will have a single push panic button, so that if something were to happen, all it takes is pushing one button to get the police on their way. For our visitor management and emergency response communication, the district is currently using the Raptor Visitor Management. This is the software that scans a visitor's driver's license, determines if any known liabilities or threats are already known about that individual. We also use the Navigate Prepared app. This is the emergency response app that we use to communicate and alert our internal staff and our first responders in the event of an emergency. All of our staff have that loaded onto their phones and access to their computers as well, but this is how we communicate, and we are aware of any situations going on with this. All of our schools have a full-time school resource officer, which if you remember about this time last year, it was quite a big deal in terms of it becoming law. Schools still probably do not have full-time SRO workforce that we do. Their offices are all close in proximity to the main offices. In each SRO office, they also have that large TV monitor, watching cameras all throughout the campus. And speaking of cameras, all schools and the Welcome Center are equipped with high-definition cameras. At the high school, we have 72 cameras. Combined intermediate, or again, the intermediate school and Welcome Center, we have 87 cameras here and 57 cameras at the primary school. Some additional measures, things that we're looking at, based upon that video that you watched. Obviously, the intruder shot out glass, okay? And from there, you know, your first reaction would be to think of bulletproof glass. Well, first thing is, there's no such thing as bulletproof glass. Hollywood doesn't do us any favors when they show what they call bulletproof glass. There's bullet-resistant glass, okay? So for the bullet-resistant glass, I did have a company come in and measure for some of our more vulnerable areas in terms of the amount of glass. I can tell you it's extremely expensive, and right now it's probably not our best option financially and logistically in terms of what the glass actually is. The glass is much heavier than normal glass, and it would probably require a lot of structures to be changed to hold that type of glass. And for example, the glass that would be in a door like that, the glass is a lot heavier, and we would probably have to replace all the hinges, the design of the door, and so forth. And extremely expensive. I can go into more detail with any of you about it. But a more viable option is to have a security film added to our glass. I do want to give you a quick video of this as well. Before I get that, this is a 9mm protective film that could be added to our glass. The purpose of this is to slow an intruder down. Can an intruder get through? Yes. But in this scenario, in the scenario that we just saw there in Nashville, that person was able to shoot out the glass and within seconds walk through. This can at least buy us time. Again, we have SROs. If we were to hear gunshots, and then as you're going to see here in the video, a lot of banging and trying to bust through this film will give us more time so that we can take action in the school building to get our students secured, get them in place, locked down, have law enforcement on their way, and at the same time have our inside SRO ready for action. So I'll pass this down, and I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm going to let this whole thing play, if you don't mind, because it shows you that how much time it takes to get through.
Newport safety and security. This is used for a variety of threats, including bomb blast, windstorm, and as you can see, the upcoming demonstration, forced injury protection. The film is designed to help delay injury in a case of forced injury.
This is without film. This is with the film. You can see the video at the little red bar at the bottom. And we're only halfway through the video, so I can tell you the rest of the time is him kicking and beating. Okay, and he does finally get through, but it's a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it takes,
To get through.
yeah.
So I'll stop that.
I would be. Right.
He's getting frustrated right now. But again, he finally got to break through. But again, this is, in these situations, again, there's a chance that you're not gonna be able to stop something, okay? But what this does is it buys seconds or minutes to get more of your plan in action. During this amount of time, if this was happening at any of our doors in any of our buildings, I guarantee you, someone would obviously have heard the gunshots. They would have heard the beating on the door, the kicking on the glass, things like that. And that would have been numerous 911 calls. That would have been staff locking down, getting students barricaded into their classrooms, it's getting SROs in position. So again, this is a much more viable option. I did meet with representatives last week. We measured all of our glass in the district in terms of our entryways and all of our lower windows. I received the quotes back today, and it's a very, very doable price. And it ranges to do the entire district. It ranges between a couple of different products, between $32,000 and about $42,000. So I think it's something that we're going to creatively, Jen and I are going to work together to creatively fund so that we can get it in place. We have some options with how we can possibly fund it, but I just wanted to make you aware of that moving forward.
Fabulous. Yes.
Couple more things, and then I'm finished with this portion. Our public addresses from our announcement system in each of our schools, they have the capability of creating different alarm sounds. We unfortunately found it one day over at the intermediate. Jen called me and said, there's some alarm going off, one that we had never heard before. So that kind of sparked me a bit in terms of how can we use these existing systems and technology to create some sort of an obnoxious alarm that we could literally hit a plunger that would sound very different than a fire alarm, so that our staff and students can know the difference and go into mode. If you remember watching the Nashville, if you noticed up in the corner there was a flashing, I thought, to be honest, the first time I watched it, I'm asking myself, what technology, what special alarm do they have? Unfortunately, it was just a fire alarm that was going off, and it was pulled by a 9-year-old who actually became one of the victims. So when you see that flashing, it's not an alarm going off for lockdown or an intruder. It was actually just a fire alarm. So, but that made me think, what can we do where I can just hit a button in the office to send out an alarm before we have the opportunity to grab a phone to be able to make the announcement to do the lockdown stuff. So Rusty and I are working on that end of that. All staff are currently have participated in an online active shooter training. We are considering adding an in-person and interactive training. That's something that we're going to continue to think about and put into place in the near future. All staff are required to wear their school-issued identification badges. Staff have been trained to approach anyone not wearing a badge. As I said in the beginning, I'm going to continue to look for more and more ways that we can keep our students safe. That's what we have in place now, but more is going to be done. Any questions about the security in any of our measures?
No, thank you. Great presentation. Good information to know what we are doing, what we can do. Right.
And I can tell you, we are keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak. Tim got a lot of this work started years ago. We really have the same technologies for the most part that the other schools are using, and it's we're keeping up with everyone else. A few things we're probably above and beyond, but we're going to continue to do that. You have a copy of my report. I One item I do want to stress upon in that is I referenced the fact that I've completed our transportation and facilities budget. I turned that over to Mr. Hoover. I can tell you, I went through a lot to flip over every stone and do my best to research all of our annual expenses and all the different things that we need to prepare for in terms of maintaining our facilities. I am going to do my absolute best to be cost savvy as we move forward. And one of the items that I particularly will be monitoring next year is our energy consumption. We are doing a lot right now in terms of how we can save on the budget with our energy costs. Tomorrow morning, Jen and I are meeting with a gentleman from Stand Energy. We have the opportunity to purchase our natural gas from another company. That was something I didn't know we could do. But he emailed us back today and says he has great news for us. So tomorrow I'll find out what that means. We're also working with a representative from Train for energy savings performance contracts. And hopefully he's going to be able to give us some additional options and opportunities to save on our energy across the district as well. As a former superintendent, when I was over at Silver Grove, one of the things that I did, and it was actually required back then, and you guys may remember this, we used to have to do an energy analysis spreadsheet.
Yes.
When the bills, remember that? Okay. So when the bills would come in, I would take the, I'd figure out how many kilowatt hours of, electricity and how much natural gas and so forth. So I'm going to be implementing that again, even though we don't have to turn it into KDE anymore. I'm going to kind of bring that method back starting next year so that I can see where our energy hogs are, where we may have some savings. We're going to continue with some more LED lighting upgrades. On top of all the things that we're doing with different companies, we're going to be replacing our boiler here in this building, which is going to be, from an operational standpoint, a huge savings, but as well it's going to save on just the maintenance behind it all. So a lot next year in terms of intentionality is going to be put toward our energy consumption. So I'm looking forward to starting the new year and diving into why we spend what we spend for our electricity and our natural gas. So I'll continue to update you throughout the year and put that in my report moving forward.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, sorry for being so long.
But it was good.
Any other questions for me from the report?
No, good report and great presentation. Thank you.
Thank
Next up, council, okay.
Madam Chair, members of the board, superintendent, Mr. Hall, we have our report, and any questions.
So how did the professional development session go with the Touch Math?
The teachers are eager for implementation. They will begin the class March, and full implementation will go into effect beginning in August. Here, notice that in order we have a couple of little things that we need to based on the sharing of the materials between the teachers, but everything should be ready to go by fall.
Okay, good. Sound like it's pretty exciting to have something that is tailored to meet their needs for learning.
We use ESSER funds to purchase such a program for that math too.
Lisa, the mental health programming, is everybody who is wanting services getting them, or is this just the limit of the practitioners' schedules?
They are at that. Now, the services again goes through the guidance counselors and outside agencies, and those guidance counselors direct the services and get the kids, especially the outside agencies. And that falls under the school board. And so kids that need services. And we do have a waiting list right now. And so what we're doing is referring them to the same organizations that we have to go use with to see if they can get after school, weekend services. We've already reached out to our current providers for MOUs for 23, 24, asking for additional counselors, for additional days. So we're in the negotiations now, but there's definitely a need, and yes, we do. District-wide have a waiting list for services.
Is it a couple people on the waiting list or dozens?
At different times, it is substantial.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
One provider, usually provide anywhere from 30 to 32. That's basically the rank.
Yeah.
We do have one that went up to 33, but she wasn't able to take on any kids, additional kids. Her schedule was full from the moment she started until.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, tonight we're having, Lisa Rizzo come and do a food services update.
No samples?
And the cake was the sample.
Yeah. And that they did.
Another thing that's not on there that we've been working on, is that we were sure we can come together for,
Okay.
working with the 21st century program first, to make sure, we have all that set up for our students that'll be, doing the programming at the schools. But then we're also going to open a site here at the intermediate for the public. I'm also going to sort of be able to at Southgate, and that's going to be an open site too, for anybody that needs breakfast for lunch. So when I get busy, I'll look at it.
Good.
I suppose still waiting for us to schedule our meeting in the new cafeteria.
Yes.
We talked about maybe having a board meeting or a work session over there, so we can all enjoy it.
Yeah, maybe.
The tree's getting installed. May 13th.
What is it?
The tree trunk itself, the leaves are on the ceiling, but they're just kind of flying there, it's not connected.
Yeah. We had talked about maybe doing a video, and I still want to do that, but that's kind of like a big piece to the cafeteria, and the trunk of the tree.
So as soon as it's finished, we'll get our meeting scheduled.
Get that.
All right, keep us posted. Too bad it won't be ready by May 10th, and we could have our dinner meeting there.
Yeah.
All righty. That's it for students, learning and support services. Let's see, there's nothing, under old business, new business. Any questions regarding the items under new business? Sebastian, did you have a chance to read the master lease?
No, I did not look at that.
Okay, I think Brandon did.
I apologize.
That's okay. I know Brandon, Brandon looked at it. Okay. Okay, before. Yes, yeah, because Rusty presented this to us at a work session and went over it in detail, and we asked quite a few questions. All righty, looks like this, are we good to go on the lease? Everybody's good with the language? Okay, thank you. All righty. And then we have a surplus items. Any questions regarding the parachute?
That's the funniest part. We just like have a surplus parachute.
It's for little kids, you know?
No, it just makes me laugh anyway. A surplus parachute.
All righty. If there's no more questions, I need a vote to approve consent agenda items 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have to excuse Tim?
Yes. All righty. Let's see. I thought is he attending online, Tim?
He's watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, all righty. Board comments and concern. I did bring some material back from the school board conference I went to, put on by COSBA. Aaron has a book from Dr. Beagle, who did a fabulous job at this conference on poverty. She's a young lady who actually was in poverty, and through education, meeting the right people. But what was very interesting about her presentation is she talked about the language that oftentimes we assume people in poverty know what things are, like an escalator. Someone asked her about an escalator. She had no idea what an escalator, because where she lived, there were no escalators. So it made us aware of the conversation we have with people instead of assuming they know, our lifestyle or the language we use in our lifestyle. And so she encouraged us to check our policy to make sure that we don't have policies that create a culture where we are not aware of people's limitations because of their poverty. So oftentimes when you're communicating with someone in poverty, you're having a conversation and they may shut down because they're too embarrassed to tell you that they don't know what you're talking about, or they've never seen something like that. So it was very interesting. I have a book, and Aaron's has agreed to read it, and we're gonna talk about it a little bit more. But it was really a very eye-opening session, and I think it'd be good for us to, always be. And then the whole school, whole child presentation was excellent, and I shared that with Jennifer, and she said that it actually was the framework that they were looking for, because it's on KDE's website, that they're looking for school districts to address the whole child. School, community, and it was one more. It was school, community, and one more thing. It was 3 things. What they call it. But I just want to again thank you. It was a very great conference. It's a new association that KSBA has joined, and I think it's going to be good for us because they offer a lot of information that I think will help us grow our capacity as board members, learning what other districts are doing, what they're doing in their districts. And I do have a bag of goodies for you also. I will hand those out after the board meeting. All righty? So that's all I have. Anybody else have any comments? If not, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.